In a land far away, an individual sought counsel from Gautam Buddha, hoping to learn how to restrain his overwhelming emotions. This individual was grappling with intense anger and discontentment and was in search of a guiding path to manage his sentiments in a healthier manner. On hearing his concerns, Buddha invited him to sit and listen to a tale he had to narrate. Once upon a time, there was a wealthy monarch who reigned over a flourishing realm. One day, he felt inclined to call upon the neighboring kingdom, whose ruler was renowned for his wisdom. Upon his arrival, he was greeted with high respect and grandeur. A lavish feast was arranged in his respect by the neighboring king. During the feast, the visiting king chanced upon a fly in his soup, which left him revolted. He immediately commanded his servant to bring him a new bowl of soup. Upon witnessing this scene, the neighboring king commented, "Your Highness, please do not let this trivial matter upset you. It was just an insignificant insect. It holds no importance." The king retorted, "I cannot dismiss such matters lightly. Even an insignificant fly can spoil my mood." To which the neighboring king responded, "Your Highness, permit me to offer you some advice. It isn't the fly that soured your mood, but your reaction to it. You possess the power to govern your emotions. Do not let them govern you." The king grasped the wisdom embedded in these words and returned to his kingdom. Since then, he began exercising the art of non-reaction to situations that could potentially trigger his emotions. He observed that he was able to remain calm under challenging situations and make superior decisions. The power of non-reaction is an invaluable life lesson for everyone. We often respond to situations instinctively, which can lead to unfavorable outcomes. Responding to circumstances with fury and dissatisfaction can strain our relationships and obstruct our ability to make sound judgments. In contrast, it's crucial to comprehend that non-reaction does not imply suppressing our emotions. Emotions are a fundamental part of our human experience, and it's essential to acknowledge them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we should take the time to process our emotions and respond in a reflective manner. Michael, a young man residing in a different part of the world, was a highly emotional individual. He was prone to impulsive reactions and would often respond in anger in upsetting situations. This resulted in recurrent altercations and hurt sentiments. One day, he resolved to take charge of his feelings. Understanding that his impulsive reactions were causing more harm than good, he wished to change. He engaged in mindfulness and meditation, which empowered him to become more conscious of his thoughts and emotions. He also began practicing the art of non-reaction. Whenever he found himself in a situation that could potentially trigger his emotions, he would retreat, take a few deep breaths, and assess the situation objectively before responding in a considerate manner. Initially, Michael found it challenging to control his emotions. Anger and frustration would still surface, but he would retreat and not react impulsively. As he continued to practice, he realized that it became increasingly manageable to regulate his emotions. Consequently, Michael's relationships with others improved significantly. His interactions were no longer characterized by altercations and hurt sentiments. Instead, he could communicate his thoughts calmly and thoughtfully, thereby fostering stronger relationships. One day, a friend approached Michael for advice as he was dealing with a challenging situation. Michael attentively listened to his friend's concerns and offered comforting and supportive words. His friend gratefully acknowledged, "You always know the right things to say. You never lose your cool." Michael responded with a smile, "It's not that I never experience anger or upset. I have merely learned to manage my emotions effectively instead of them managing me. It's a potent tool that has significantly ameliorated my relationships and overall well-being." Intrigued by Michael's transformation, his friend asked him how he managed to gain control over his emotions. Michael shared his journey of mindfulness and the influence of non-reaction. He inspired his friend to attempt the same, who was appreciative of the guidance. Gradually, Michael became renowned for his calm and thoughtful nature. He was adept at facing challenging circumstances with composure, and people admired his resilience and strength. He consistently practiced mindfulness and non-reaction, enhancing his sense of inner peace and joy. The power of non-reaction is a valuable lesson for everyone. Although it requires practice and patience, the results are immensely rewarding. By controlling our emotions, we can enhance our relationships, make better decisions, and lead a more satisfying life. The tales of the king and Michael impart a significant lesson. The power to manage our emotions is within us. Although we may not have control over external events, we can control our reactions to these events. By practicing mindfulness and non-reaction, we can learn to manage our emotions and respond thoughtfully. It's a potent tool that can elevate our relationships, overall well-being, and life quality. Thus, let's invest time to practice and nurture this influential skill and let it positively transform our lives. Anger will not fade as long as thoughts of resentment linger in the mind. Anger will dissipate as soon as such thoughts are forgotten. The one who can restrain burgeoning anger, comparable to a swift chariot, is a true charioteer. The rest are merely holding the reins. Clinging onto anger is akin to consuming poison and expecting the other person to suffer. A person who conquers their inner self is more triumphant than someone who wins 1,000 battles on the battlefield. Don't let your reactions guide you. Let your actions lead the way. Inner peace arises from within. Don't seek it externally. In any disagreement, the moment anger arises, we cease pursuing the truth and start striving for ourselves. The mind possesses immense power. What you cultivate in your thoughts, you become. You don't suffer due to anger. You suffer due to your attachment to anger. The root of suffering is attachment. If you wish for others to be happy, practice compassion. If you desire happiness, practice compassion. Letting go offers us freedom, which is the prerequisite for happiness. If we still hold on to anything, be it anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot experience true freedom. A single peaceful word is more potent than 1,000 hollow ones. We are products of our thoughts. Respond with reason, not emotion. In the end, only 3 things matter: how deeply you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. The one who experiences life's unity sees himself in all beings and all beings in himself, viewing everything with an impartial eye. Happiness never diminishes by sharing. We are molded by our thoughts. We become what we think. Don't dwell in the past or dream of the future. Focus your mind on the present moment. 3 things cannot be concealed for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The only path to true happiness is to let go of your attachments to things and people often bind us. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Interestingly, it's a person's own mind, not an external adversary, that tempts them towards harmful paths. An idea that is not only conceived but also acted upon is far more valuable than a mere thought. Passion burns like no other fire. Hatred is as dangerous as a shark. Folly is a tricky snare, and greed flows with the force of a torrent. Our thoughts shape who we are, and they build our world. If you aspire to fly, you must let go of what's weighing you down. If global transformation is what you seek, begin with self-transformation. Happiness isn't a ready-made commodity. It's a result of your own deeds. Often, the problem is, we think we have ample time. The mind is akin to water. When agitated, it's hard to see clearly, but when calm, everything comes into focus. Harsh words can wound, even without drawing blood. Instead of merely following in the footsteps of the wise, strive to seek what they sought. Purity or impurity is a personal manifestation. No one can purify another. Let's rise and express gratitude. Even if we haven't learned much today, we have at least learned a bit. If not that, at least we haven't fallen ill, and if we have, at least we are alive. So, let's be thankful. The only real failure in life is failing to stay true to what we know is right. The past is already behind us. The future is yet to arrive. The only time we have is now. To be idle paves the way to demise, whereas diligence leads to a fulfilling life. Hatred can only be conquered by love, not by more hatred. This is the eternal principle. Whatever a monk ponders upon constantly becomes the inclination of his consciousness. Do not dwell on the past or fantasize about the future. Focus your mind on the present. Your thoughts shape who you become. Don't seek perfection in anyone but yourself. The key to great work is loving what you do. If you haven't discovered it yet, keep searching, don't compromise. Matters of the heart always reveal themselves when the time is right. The greatest glory in life doesn't lie in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. No one can save us but ourselves. We must tread our own path. No one else can, and no one else may. This is